The Electoral College is a disaster for democracy, said former President Donald Trump. The Electoral College, despite its name, is a process in which a certain number of electors from each state place votes towards the presidential election. The candidate with at least 270 votes wins the election, despite popularity amongst the citizens. Citizens every 4 years gather to vote for a new leader of our nation, yet are forced to submit to the 538 votes that will determine their future. It's for this reason that the Electoral College system in place today should be replaced with a system that represents the views of each individual. Today, we're going to discuss the problems associated with the Electoral College. Next, we're going to talk about the causation and a brief history of the Electoral College. And we're going to conclude with solutions and ways that we can win back our voice and our vote in our nation. One of the biggest problems in the Electoral College is that it promotes undemocratic principles. A democracy, defined by dictionary.com, is a system of government by the whole population, meaning that the whole population and all the people in it have the opportunity and the chance and the right to vote for their leaders and to have a say in their government. America was built upon this idea of a democracy, but the Electoral College takes that individual voice away and takes that vote away and throws it away as it is nothing. The Electoral College does not support a democracy because they do not support your voice. Secondly, the Electoral College permits unfairness in the election process. Andrew Prokop explains that the winner of the nationwide vote can lose the presidency, meaning that the vote and the winner is chosen by the electors instead of the population and instead of the people. Similarly, 48 out of 50 states have a winner-takes-all system, meaning that all of their votes go towards the popular majority, explained by Weldon Levinson, and expanded that this freezes out even a large minority from gaining any representation in the Electoral College. An example of this would be California, as all 55 of their electoral votes went towards President Joe Biden in the last election. However, only 46.3% voted for President Biden, which means that there was no representation for the 24% of Republicans and 24% of independent voters. The causes of the Electoral College span all the way back to its beginning in the history. History.com explains that there was a compromise, and it began by a compromise between people who feared too much government power and people who feared too much citizen power. This compromise gave a balance of powers and influenced the government and people and helped them work together. However, it did not promote a democracy, and it took away the citizens' voices. History.com also expands on the power of the state, as the states would appoint electors who would cast the actual ballots for the presidency. Tegan Goddard expands on this and says that the states could create an electoral college system that better reflected the popular vote. However, they don't, because it would, quote, dilute their power in the election of the president, end quote. This shows that the Electoral College gives all of the power to the states and nearly nothing to the population. How are we going to solve these major issues in our nation today, and how are we going to win back our voice? First of all, we need to make our country a democracy again. We need to be able to have a say. To do this, we must ratify the Constitution, explained by Kamarak and Hudak at Brookings.com. They say that there needs to be a 2/3 vote in Congress and a 3/4 vote in the state in order to ratify the Constitution, as the Electoral College system is implanted in this historical document. By amending the Constitution, it would be a beginning of a revival of democracy and a revival of our voice. Similarly, we need to change and create a fair system. The most popular solution is to award each district with a vote. If a district votes red, then one vote would go towards the Republican candidate and vice versa. This will give everyone a say and possibly even encourage others to vote more because their voice would actually be heard. In discussing the problems and causes of problems in the Electoral College, as well as presenting solutions, I have shown that the significance and the importance of your voice in our nation, while showing that the Electoral College restricts that voice, which is why the Electoral College system in place today should be replaced with a system that represents the views of the individuals. It is not only your right, but your duty to represent our nation and to have a say and to speak up. It is time that we take back that privilege and fight for our God-given rights. Thank you very much.